Plea.
Plea for the fifth.
For the fifth.
A collective demand for pandemic relief. In contrast to recent rallies against COVID-19 restrictions attended by a white supremacist group, Staten Island Coalition organizes a campaign demanding immediate pandemic relief from Congress. A coalition of Staten Island groups, including La Colmena, the Pride Center of Staten Island, and CWA Local 1102, launched a campaign Friday, December 11th, to demand collective economic security through federal COVID-19 relief. The letter, calling for the swift passage of a comprehensive COVID relief bill before the end of the year, comes as cases are surging locally and the island has seen the highest one-day increase since April. The coalition's campaign for federal COVID-19 relief was launched by Move Forward Staten Island, a nonpartisan organization focused on advancing social justice issues in the community through civic engagement, education, grassroots organizing, and policy advocacy. The campaign was initially a statement in opposition of the Proud Boys' involvement at the Max Public House rally. The rally was alarming for its presence of the far-right neo-fascist Proud Boys, its disregard of COVID-19 public health guidelines, and that Congresswoman-Elect Malliotakis was among the supporters who gathered at Max to declare her support. In her December 10th appearance on New York One, Malliotakis pointed to the Supreme Court's overturning of New York State attendance caps at religious services as confirming the coronavirus mandates were arbitrary decisions by our governor.
What I don't agree with is the way that our governor has put in place mandates that are overburdening not only our small businesses and basically driving them out of business, but the way that our mayor is handling shutdowns of schools. And then, of course, the arbitrary decisions by our governor when it comes to our houses of worship. As you know, the Supreme Court last week ruled against Governor Cuomo and said that his orange and red zones that required only 10 or 25 people, regardless of the capacity, were against the First Amendment, freedom of religion. So I think what people are what you saw at Max Public House were people who are really fed up, number one, with the arbitrary decisions of our governor, but also people that are feeling that their freedoms and liberties are being taken away from them.
Seeking to counter the individualistic pursuits of rally attendees, the coalition is demanding COVID-19 relief for collective health and economic security. Quote, "So many of our neighbors are hurting, which is why it's so important for us to quickly pass a relief bill." Julian Verdi, director of Move Forward Staten Island, and owner and principal attorney at J. Verdi Law LLC said, quote, "The best way to support our small businesses is by keeping the pressure on to pass a relief bill before year's end and by all of us doing our part to reduce the spread of COVID-19 while we wait for widespread vaccination." In the Congresswoman-elect's appearance on New York One, the day before the relief campaign's launch, Malliotakis called on the current Congress to pass relief immediately. When asked if Malliotakis had expressed her support for their letter, Verdi said, quote, "We have not heard from Congresswoman-elect Malliotakis, but would certainly welcome her support of our efforts." A group of senators representing the two major parties introduced a two-part coronavirus relief bill Monday, December 14th. If unpassed, it threatens to shut down government agencies with funding set to expire Friday, December 18th at midnight. It has been 9 months since the federal government passed the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, also known as the CARES Act. The stimulus package at $2.2 trillion was the largest economic stimulus in United States history, but less than 14% was set aside for direct relief to individuals through a one-time direct payment of $1,200. Eligibility requirements for CARES Act relief payments excluded aid for those that did not file taxes in previous years and the over 8 million undocumented working across the nation. Quote, "Undocumented low-wage day workers have suffered most, both in their exclusion from any financial relief, but also in their loss of day work." Ruth Silverberg, a professor of education at the College of Staten Island, said, "The coalition's letter calls for an upcoming relief to apply for all, regardless of immigration status. As a delegate to the Professional Staff Staff Congress, or PSC CUNY, the union that represents the College of Staten Island faculty and staff, and one of the campaign signees, Silverberg notes that immigrant workers have kept our borough functioning at all levels, including those undocumented. Quote, to continue to deny them the same relief as any other member of our community is both inhumane and economically unsound, she said. Alternatives to the CARES Act relief were proposed at the time, such as the People's Bailout. The People's Bailout called for a response to the crisis that would combat, quote, inequality, not double down on the unjust status quo, through health relief for all people regardless of status, excluding corporate executives from rescue, and transitioning to a regenerative economy. This expansive stimulus package received only 2 mentions in leading national news outlets, despite being endorsed by nearly 100 members of Congress. An effort in May by Congress to provide additional direct payments to individuals, coined the HEROES Act, was passed by the House but blocked in the Senate by Republicans. By October, Staten Island's unemployment rate was at 10.8%. Fourth highest of any county in the state. New York City's unemployment rate is 3 times larger than this time last year. Between November 11th and the 23rd, the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities found that nearly 26 million adults, or 12% of all adults in the country, reported that their household sometimes or often didn't have enough to eat. In late November, New York City reached an unfortunate return to pre-pandemic normalcy. A Brooklyn tenant became the first legal eviction since March. Signing groups like CWA Local 1102 are optimistic if relief can be passed as outlined in their letter. President Steve Lawton notes the coalition has a, quote, connection to this community, and we want to create the environment for it to succeed. Sean Ghazala for Plea for the Fifth.